please. All right, we're back in session, and we have Madam Treasurer here to talk about her budget.
So I get to talk?
Yep, you're the one that needs to go through and tell us why and what and how you want an increase or decrease, or
Okay.
before we tell you no.
So let's start with B. The only changes that we are requesting for our B budget is to add $200 so that we can utilize the shred truck that comes every 3 weeks. Prior to that, we had not been using that service, but we did start using it, so the auditors had added a line for us in our last year's budget that we hadn't budgeted for. Our printing and binding, we are asking for an increase of $4,000, which is purely to cover the cost of the Idaho State Journal ad that we have to do for our tax deed advertising. And the only other request there was the $100 for Emma for her Facebook advertising.
On that, would it be okay if we put all of her advertising money in Emma's budget, like we talked about yesterday with Scott?
I think so. The only thing we need to maybe change is the policy, because the policy was that if somebody come and ask, it had to go through her. Anyway, I thought about that a little bit, and I'm not sure how our policy actually reads, but it said that the department paid for it in the policy as well.
Yeah, I think that's why she did it that way.
Well, I just think it gives her more flexibility, because
It does.
what if Jen doesn't need $100? Maybe she only needs 20. Or what if Jen needs $200, but somebody needs less?
And as Em and I had talked about it, since this was our first time through trying to do it, we thought that would be the easier way to just give every department. If you think it's easier the other way,
I think
it
it
doesn't
gives more
matter.
flexibility.
It gives more flexibility, but it's more transparent this way, but I mean, we're talking about hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, we're not
Really.
talking a lot of money.
It's-
Well, and
Right, but that's
yeah,
all we were doing.
I think the main thing too is also to mirror that policy, because I think the policy does state that the department pays for it.
What policy?
There's a social
like
media
we-
policy.
Oh, the social media? Oh, that's a
Yeah, we
change.
just, but that's just, I think, why it
And
came that way.
that's what we just set up, and that's why everybody was following that.
And it was kind of
policy.
reflecting like the IT, where everybody got a computer budget, but you went through Adam to buy it. So you got charged for it.
This to me is a little different, because a computer's a computer, but what if Jen doesn't need any more than this? Or, I mean, you do one boost, it's $20.
Yeah. Well, I think,
Then that means $80 isn't gonna get spent elsewhere.
I think there's a couple things here. One is having the departments have it, then they may use it. Where if Emma's doing it, she's got to go around to each one of them and talk to them and say, will you, want you, do you, where this may promote. I don't know.
But Emma may not know who has it,
well, and
because she doesn't see it.
I think a lot of it though too is to drive the
What
departments.
if I take it out and she doesn't know I took it out?
Well,
Then she wouldn't.
I mean, accidentally, but I'm just saying, if she has possession of it, she knows what she has.
well, and I think a lot too is to try
I
and
think
get the
that this is a
departments to do the
conversation that
work behind
we
it.
extend and have when
Okay.
Emma's in here.
Okay.
And
Just figure
as we
out how
talk
to
about
do
her
it.
budget tomorrow.
Sure.
Is that what we're doing?
At
tomorrow?
the commission's tomorrow. I didn't know if Emma was on there or whatever.
Because-
Anyway, I just,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work through that, and I like
We
that. Let's
can
talk
adjust.
about it a little bit tomorrow, and then we'll just put it in the clerk's recommendation, however we decide as a group.
yeah.
So
Okay.
let's make it easy, and
Sorry, it's a bigger conversation.
No
So,
problem.
on
all
the
that
water-
over $100 for Jen.
I know,
Maybe you shouldn't-
$100.
Just don't request $100
No.
next
Come
time.
on, come on, Jen.
I guess the other deal, and this didn't pass before, was the electronic version of newspapers, Because we just had the conversation about
Right, it'd be great
Southeast Idaho
if
News or
we
whatever, and
were
you guys told me
able
that was a lot
to-
better than the Journal.
Yep.
But I believe code still requires
It does.
that we
Yeah,
have
it
to
does.
do,
We've got to get that changed.
yeah, because that would save us
Oh,
so much
Randy's
money.
gone.
It'd save every department.
It's
And I think it
expensive.
would be seen more
Well,
Uh-huh.
if it was just
costs Bannock
Facebook
County like
and
$60,000 a year.
online on our website versus who gets the newspaper anymore?
Well, it-
Well, I do, but
Jason does.
but you don't get it like you got it when you originally signed up.
no, I don't.
How many days do you miss a week that you used
A
to
few,
get?
But yeah, statute has a lot of those.
yeah. There's a,
Okay,
All right.
so that is all that I have for my B budget. And then for my A budget, I have requested, after reviewing job descriptions, that the girls in my office be moved from a grade 5 to a grade 6. As I said in my description, I would talk to Ryan about it to see about the job description being changed. That has been denied at this point, so, but my reasoning is, I just feel like the liability that my employees take on with the job that we do in our office is higher than some of the other departments that are being paid the exact same. We are trying to cross-train and have some of our newer employees do bigger tasks, which relates to the banking and balancing the accounts and the things that go along with what we do. Never hurts to ask. I understand. You're probably going to tell me no, but I wanted it noted that I am trying to help my employees.
And we appreciate that 100%. We really do. And I read your notes and everything else, and we seriously are looking at everybody.
I know.
There's a lot of requests, and that is our biggest challenge, in my opinion, is how do we take care of our employees? How do we let them know that they are valued?
Right.
But,
And Ryan did tell me that we could look into some of the grades for my positions and see what we can do, but it's not going to get done right now, so.
Well, and there needs to be, and it needs to be just not a grade change, it needs to be an actual regrading of the position then with job descriptions. Because
Right.
that's the biggest problem that's gotten us in a lot of these, is some of the job descriptions are written very, very well. And you know exactly what that person's doing, and it more than justifies a wage increase or whatever. And then there's other departments that, let's just say, fall short of that. And it's, you know, I mean, the person probably more than deserves it, but because the supervisor or whoever hasn't, how do you compare two people that one says they just do X and the other one does X,
Right.
Y, Z and the rest of the alphabet?
Right.
You know?
And then you have the third that has a lot of fluff in their budget and they don't do half, or in their job description, they don't do
Yeah.
half of what's in it.
And that's the part that we need to make sure, because that's where you get a lot of these issues that are,
Right.
you know.
Well, I can't answer for anybody else, but to me, as we've kind of had conversations this year, the steps and the grades, Ryan's working on that still, and we're not ready to do all the steps and grades that he's talked about. If we do steps and grades for somebody, then their COLA can't match what somebody else would get. To me, there's a lot of conversation still to have on
Yeah.
that part of it.
Right.
We look forward to the clerk's
Input.
input on all this too, but
For how much money we have to spend? That's the biggest problem too, is it's
Right.
gonna be expensive for the entire county.
Well, and the last thing we want in our office is for our levy to go up, because we're already getting
You take the
chewed
brunt
out,
of it.
and we haven't even billed taxes yet. So, yeah, I mean, I get all of that and how it works, so. One last thing I do have on here is to add the $480 cell phone stipend for my chief deputy, who has to use her phone at work quite regularly.
Yeah. I would actually prefer, instead of you
these are
using.
personal calls.
Yes!
I just have to ask.
No.
Instead of using a stipend, you shouldn't use your personal phone for any county business. And this is something that I hate with stipends, is you should just have another county cell phone. And that's the problem, especially if you're making phone calls to people that then have your number and are going to be calling you when you are not at work or whatever, you shouldn't be doing that. And that's why I say,
We actually had just discussed getting a, what are they called?
track phone.
A track phone for our office, because Lori had to text someone not too long ago, and you get response if you try texting people versus calling them and emailing them.
Yep.
That person got right back with her, but then she's like, oh, now they have my number.
Yep, and that's what I say, there should be a phone, and that's the same thing with your number, is,
But it's more so for employees, not the public. Like,
Yeah.
the employees are calling in sick, or the employees are,
Have questions on when I'm not there.
or we're at a
conferences.
conference and they have to contact her to get an answer about something.
yeah.
That is more so where I was going with that.
And you have your mail on it, don't you? Your email?
Yep. See, and that's the other thing too. Scott and those guys are gonna do that eSIM, where it basically allows 2 phone numbers onto 1 phone. That's something to look at, but you need to be able to have it to where it's separated, because there needs to be days when you just wanna take off, not have anybody call you. Yeah, they might have your personal cell phone number, but it ain't gonna be anybody from work, it ain't gonna be emails, it ain't gonna be anything else.
I hate 2 phones.
I know.
Me too.
I have to.
I have enough
do the
I used
trouble
to.
with one.
stipend, and
I used to.
I don't care if they
The-
come take it. You can have anything on it. It doesn't matter.
If you can do that with the SIM cards, though, I've had cell phones in the military that have 2 SIM cards in it. When I was in Afghanistan, my cell phone had 2 cards in it, and that was awesome because you just hit and it switched over. So, but it keeps it separate because you can see line 1 is calling you or line 2 is calling you, and you don't have to answer it. You know what it is.
So on the grades that you've requested here, is that simply a grade, no COLA, or is there a 2 to 4% COLA added on there
Well,
also?
of course, we're asking for a 2 to 4% COLA,
Okay. Plus the
plus the
grade.
grades, yes.
Okay.
On that, I did a 4% with the totals that you see.
Okay,
Okay.
Thanks, Caitlin.
so that's a grade and 4%.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Any comments, questions?
Do you have anything?
I don't.
I think we
Easy
covered
peasy.
everything.
All
Got
right.
it?
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I think, yes.
The easiest office there is to work with.
That's right.
I don't know, I got less discussion with Sherry than this. That's just because